Any better? Can you hear me now? Mhm. I'm gonna go with that for a minute. So, more than podcast so far. I'm wondering if you don't see the headphones, let me see how that headphones don't get sounds like I'm underwater. That's not good. I don't want to be in the water. I gotta go. Hold on one second. Oh my goodness, one second. Okay, I found headphones that help us a bit. Still sound like I'm underwater? Or do I look like it should be? Okay, let's do that again. Good morning, everybody. Today's Friday. That means I'm still underwater. I'm underwater. Hmm.
Hmm. Is that better? Good morning, everybody. We had a bit of a technical glitch there, but I think we're better now. So today is Friday, and usually Miss Jeannie would be reading Winnie the Pooh for you, except she had to get a haircut. So, if you'll allow it, I'll be reading it for you today. It's such a beautiful day outside. I'm looking out the window right now, and it's clear blue sky, no clouds at all. I think it'd be a perfect day to go ride a bike, maybe play with some chalk. I think I might read a book outside today. I think I have a hammock, so I might put that up against some two trees and swing and read my book. That'd be nice and fun. So, without any further ado, I will read to you chapter 3 of Winnie the Pooh, in which Pooh and Piglet go hunting and nearly catch a woozle. The piglet lived in a very grand house in the middle of a beech tree, and the beech tree was in the middle of the forest, and Piglet lived in the middle of the house. Next to his house was a piece with a broken board which had Trespassers W on it. When Christopher Robin asked the piglet what it meant, he said that it was his grandfather's name and had been in the family for a very long time. Christopher Robin said you couldn't be called Trespassers W, which and Piglet said yes, you could, because his grandfather was, and it was short for Trespassers Will, which was short for Trespassers William. And his grandfather had had two names in case he lost one: Trespassers after an uncle, and William after Trespassers. I've got two names, said Christopher Robin carelessly. Well, there you are, and that proves it, said Piglet. One fine winter's day, when Piglet was brushing away the snow in front of his house, he happened to look up, and Winnie the Pooh was there. Pooh walking around in a circle, thinking of something else. And then when Piglet called to him, he just went on walking. See there, we can see the sign that says Trespassers W on it. And there's little Pooh with the T. Oh, look! Can you see Piglet with his little pants right there? Oh, Pretty funny, isn't it? He's very small, and that's a very big tree. "Hello," said Piglet. "What are you doing?" "Hunting," said Pooh. "Hunting what?" "Tracking something," said Winnie the Pooh very mysteriously. "Tracking what?" said Piglet, coming closer. "That's just what I ask myself. I ask myself, what? What do you think you'll answer?" "I shall have to wait until I catch up with it," said Winnie the Pooh. "Now look here." He pointed to the ground in front of him. "What do you see there?" What do you see there? Right there. We see Pooh, we see Piglet. What do you see that? What do you think those are? "Tracks," said Piglet. "Paw marks." He gave a little squeak of excitement. Oh, Pooh, do you think it's a, a woozle?" "It may be," said Pooh. "Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. You can never tell with paw marks." Look at all those paw marks. Do you think they're gonna find a woozle? I wonder what a woozle looks like. With these, yes, with these few words, he went on tracking, and Piglet, after watching him for a minute or two, ran after him. Winnie the Pooh came to a sudden stop and was bending over the tracks in a puzzled sort of way. "What's the matter?" asked Piglet. "It's a very funny thing," said Bear. "But there seem to be two animals now. This, whatever it is, has been joined by another, whatever it was, and the two of them are now proceeding in company. Would you mind coming with me, Piglet, in case they turn out to be hostile animals?" Hostile is just a word that means a bit angry. Piglet scratched his ear in a nice sort of way, and he said that he had nothing to do until Friday and would be delighted to come in case it really was a woozle. "You mean in case it really is two woozles," said Winnie the Pooh. And Piglet said that anyhow he had nothing to do until Friday. So they went off together. Nice adventure with with your friend. I enjoy going on adventures with my friends. Sometimes we'll walk through the woods and we'll see what animals we can spot, like a squirrel or some chipmunks. I've never seen a woozle before, though. There was a small spinney of large trees just here, and it seemed as if two woozles, if that is what they were going around and around this spinney. So round this spinney Pooh and Piglet went after them, Piglet passing the time by telling Pooh what his great-grandfather Trespassers W had done to remove stiffness after tracking, and how his grandfather Trespassers W had suffered in his later years from shortness of breath, and other matters of interest, and Pooh wondering what grandfather was like, and perhaps if this was two grandfathers that they were after now, and if so, whether he would be allowed to take one home and keep it, and what Christopher Robin would say. And still the tracks went on in front of them. I think that they're a little bit confused. Suddenly, Winnie the Pooh stopped and pointed excitedly in front of them. "Look!" "What?" said Piglet with a jump. And then, to show that he hadn't been frightened, he jumped up and down in a sort of exercising sort of way. "The tracks," said Winnie the Pooh. "A third animal has joined the other two." "Pooh!" cried Piglet. "Do you think it is another woozle?" "No," said Pooh, "because it makes a different mark. It is either two woozles and one, as it might be, whizzle, or two, as it might be, whizzles, and one, if so it is, woozle. Let us continue to follow them. So they went on, feeling just a little anxious now, in case the three animals in front of them were of hostile intent. And Piglet wished very much that his grandfather T.W. were there instead of elsewhere, and Pooh thought how nice it would be if they had met Christopher Robin suddenly and quite accidentally, only because he liked Christopher Robin so much. And then, all of a sudden, Winnie the Pooh stopped again and licked the tip of his nose in a cooling manner, for he was feeling more hot and anxious than ever in his life before. There were 4 animals in front of them. You see him looking at those tracks? There's 4 sets of tracks now. That must be a little scary. Do you see, Piglet? Look at their tracks. 3 as it were woozles, and 1 as it was whizzle. Another woozle has joined them. And so it seemed to be. There were the tracks crossing over each other here, getting muddled up with each other there, but quite plainly every now and then, the tracks of 4 sets of paws. I think, said Piglet, when he had licked the tip of his nose too and found that it brought very little comfort. I think that I have just remembered something. I have just remembered something that I forgot to do yesterday and shan't be able to do tomorrow, so I suppose I really ought to go back and do it now. We'll do it this afternoon, and I'll come with you, said Pooh. It isn't the sort of thing you can do in the afternoon, said Piglet quickly. It is a very particular morning thing that has to be done in the morning, and if possible, between the hours of... What would you say the time was? About 12, said Winnie the Pooh, looking at the sun. But between, as I was saying, the hours of 12 and 12:05. So really, dear old Pooh, if you'll excuse... What's that? Pooh looked up at the sky, and then, as he heard the whistle again, he looked up into the branches of the big oak tree and saw his friend of his. It's Christopher Robin, he said. Ah, then, you'll be all right, said Piglet. You'll be quite safe with him. Goodbye. And he trotted off home as quickly as he could, very glad to be out of danger all over again. See Christopher Robin hanging up there in the tree looking down at them, and Piglet running off to safety. That looks like a fun tree to climb. I do enjoy climbing trees. Christopher Robin came down slowly from his tree. Silly old bear, he said. What were you doing? First, you went round the spinney twice by yourself. And then Piglet ran after you and you went around together. And then you were just going around the 4th time. Wait a moment, said Winnie the Pooh, holding up his paw. He sat down and thought, in the most thoughtful way he could think. Then he fitted his paw into one of the tracks, scratched his nose twice, and then he stood up. Yes, said Winnie the Pooh. I see now, said Winnie the Pooh. I have been foolish and deluded, said he, and I am a bear of no brain at all. You're the best bear in all the world, said Christopher Robin soothingly. Am I? Said Pooh hopefully, and then he brightened up suddenly. Anyhow, he said, it is nearly luncheon time, so he went home for it. So I think that Winnie the Pooh and Piglet were just following their own tracks. And what do we say at the end of every good story? We say the end. And that was chapter 3 for you. Now, remember, it's always important if you're on an adventure or anywhere new and you're a little scared because you don't know what's happening, it might be easier to have somebody else look in and see if they can find something. See if they can see something you're not seeing. Because a second opinion might make things a little easier and a little less scary for you. Well, thank you so much for joining in and letting me read for you today. I really enjoyed